Greetings fellow Decepticons, SoundBlaster1987 here on my monthly vlog for May 2025. Today, to tie in with the celebration of the Star Wars franchise for this month, I will be looking back at the history of one of the most famous standout characters from the more recent years of the franchise, Ahsoka Tano. Former Padawan apprentice to Anakin Skywalker and now fellow teacher of the post-Imperial New Jedi Academy alongside Luke Skywalker. So, Ahsoka is a member of the Togruta species, the same species that Jedi Council member and Jedi Master Shaak Ti belong to. And as such has the same alien physiology with reddish-orange skin and a few white makeup style highlights to their facial details here and there. So, like all Togruta that are not part of the colony worlds and such, Ahsoka was born on the planet Shili in the expansion region. Her force sensitivity was first detected at a very young age when she was kidnapped by a wild animal and taken into the jungle. However, her ability to come to grips quickly with her new abilities gave her the ability to befriend this wild animal and convince it to return her to her village without harming her. After this point, she was found by Jedi Master Plo Koon of the Jedi Council, who recruited her into the Jedi Order, and she was taken to the Coruscant Jedi Temple to be raised as a Jedi apprentice, alongside all the other younglings of her generation, by, Master Yoda and the other Jedi Masters. By the time of the Clone Wars, beginning in 22 BBY, Ahsoka was 14 years old and was assigned to Anakin Skywalker as a Padawan learner, once Anakin had obtained knight status and graduated the Jedi trials from his own Padawan years under Obi-Wan Kenobi's tutelage. Obi-Wan had initially requested to be given a new Padawan himself, but the Council had decided to give Ahsoka to Anakin in an attempt to teach him patience and humility. Ahsoka first appeared in the 2008 Clone Wars animated movie, the beginning point for the TV show, as she was brought to the planet Christophsis during Anakin and Obi-Wan's battle with Asajj Ventress and her separatist droid forces there. Ahsoka ended up being quite the sarcastic little girl sometimes in her early appearances, and as such she ended up being given the nickname Snips by Anakin because of her sharp wit and comebacks. As a result of this, Ahsoka gave him the nickname Sky Guy, because Skywalker. So, Anakin and Ahsoka ended up pretty close friends throughout the course of the Clone Wars series, fighting alongside other Jedi like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu, Yoda, Kit Fisto, Luminara, Unduli, and so on. And Ahsoka also became close friends with not only the other Jedi that she and Anakin fought beside, but most of the clone troopers under their command as well, especially Captain Rex of the 501st Legion, and his armoured troopers with their blue accented armour and whatnot. And in addition to this, Ahsoka also befriended Luminara's Padawan apprentice, Barriss Offee, but this friendship was shattered around Season 5 of the Clone Wars cartoon, when Barriss turned to the dark side, stole Asajj Ventress' lightsabers, and framed Ahsoka for a terrorist bombing of the Jedi Temple hangar location and whatnot. Ahsoka ended up getting exiled from the Jedi Order on false charges as a result of this, and even after her name was cleared by Anakin's further investigation, she still refused to return to the Order, because she was still disillusioned by the corruption within the system. She ended up acting as a vigilante for Seasons 6 and 7 of the Clone Wars, staying in hiding, fighting small battles to help innocent people where she can. After the events of Order 66 around the time of Season 7 and subsequently Revenge of the Sith, Ahsoka survived Order 66 by overpowering Captain Rex with the Force and getting his inhibitor chip surgically removed. So the two of them could fight together against Jesse and the other 501st troopers that were on board their ship, as they had just come back from arresting Darth Maul on Mandalore for the third time. Ahsoka and Rex were sadly the only survivors of their Venator-class Star Destroyer crash landing on another planet, as the other troopers were still Order 66 loyalists that had now branded Rex a traitor for refusing to follow the command. As such, Ahsoka and Rex both went into hiding, with Rex helping the Bad Batch throughout the course of their starting storylines, and Ahsoka joining the Rebel Alliance under the secret contact alias Fulcrum, a point that would be a main plot factor for her appearance in Season 2 onwards of the Star Wars Rebels cartoon. So, in Season 2 onwards of Star Wars Rebels, Ahsoka became a main cast member once again of the main series, joining with the rebel efforts of Kanan Jarrus' team, and after the events of Star Wars Rebels, she ended up training the Mandalorian graffiti artist Sabine Wren as a Jedi apprentice once her Force sensitivity had been awakened. During one of her more famous battles in Star Wars Rebels, Ahsoka did face off against her former master Anakin Skywalker once again, being one of the only people close enough to Anakin to know the secret of his transformation into Darth Vader. They fought it out on an ancient Sith temple after Ezra Bridger, one of the members of the Rebel team, had followed the coordinates of a Sith holocron that had been manipulated by Darth Maul to lead him into a trap. So, Ahsoka fought Darth Vader, and both survived but were severely injured. Both managed to get away though. And Ahsoka managed to survive all the way to the post-Imperial era, where she became a secondary character in the Mandalorian Disney Plus show, as well as getting her own live-action series where she was played by Rosario Dawson, as opposed to the Star Wars, Clone Wars and Rebels cartoons where she was voiced by Ashley Eckstein. Ahsoka was 14 years old and 22 BBY when the Clone Wars began, so she would be about 45 in 5 ABY when 9 ABY, around the time of her Disney Plus show when the Empire had already been gone for 5 years. Because the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and the Ahsoka Disney Plus show take place about 5 years after the Battle of Endor, which itself takes place about 4 years after the Battle of Yavin 4 and the first Death Star destruction, which is the turning point for the calendar in terms of the BBY-ABY dating system for the Star Wars timeline. So, yes, like I mentioned before, Ahsoka is now a close friend of the Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin, who is the caretaker of Grogu, a 15-year-old infant member of Yoda's species who had previously been trained by Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker to be a Jedi, but Grogu chose to return to Din Djarin instead. Ahsoka was one of the first co-teachers of Luke Skywalker's new Jedi Academy, possibly around the time that Luke's nephew, Ben Solo, ended up as a student there, possibly. And obviously Ahsoka's Disney Plus show saw her and her former Jedi apprentice and rebel friend Sabine Wren teaming up with the centuries-old lightsaber construction tutor droid Professor Huang, voiced by David Tennant, as part of their mission to rescue their former rebel teammate Ezra Bridger from the clutches of an Imperial loyalist called Grand Admiral Thrawn, who had been one of the main villains of Season 4 of Star Wars Rebels, and had somehow gotten lost outside of the main Star Wars galaxy in a far-off system. So, with Season 2 of Ahsoka on the way, fingers crossed that we actually see Ahsoka finishing off Thrawn once and for all. And Ahsoka continues to be portrayed by Rosario Dawson in other Mandalorian-era, post-Imperial Star Wars live-action projects going forward, such as the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu feature-length movie due to come out next year. So, with that being said, I have been SoundBlaster1987, thanks again for watching. Ahsoka has kind of become a Star Wars equivalent of Harley Quinn's influence on the DC universe, in some ways, being a, young sidekick to an established character brought into the franchise through a cartoon series adaptation that later became popular enough to be one of the main secondary mascots of the franchise going forward. So, that said, I've been SoundBlaster1987. My next vlog in June will be about the history of Lord Voldemort from the Harry Potter franchise, from the history of the Salazar Slytherin and Gaunt family to the rise of the Horcruxes to his duel with Dumbledore and the Ministry and all of that kind of stuff. But until then, my next toy review will be Orko from the He-Man Revelation, Orko and Savage He-Man 2-pack. I don't currently have Savage He-Man, only Orko, so you'll have to see a separate video for He-Man when he comes out. Till then, till all are one, and may the Force be with you, always.